Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. And the word for today is continuity. Get you some continuity. The word of the day is continuity. I am borrowing because I don't steal. I'm borrowing the reference that John Witherspoon had for Ice Cube on Friday when he told him that the word for the day is job, J-O-B. So the word for the day is continuity, C-O-N-T-I-N-U-I-T-Y, continuity, right? And when I was riding a little bit earlier, I said, man, you know what? I want to go a little bit more in depth with this, right? I want to talk about continuity, right? So obviously you see the thumbnail, that's the definition of continuity. And I know many people have indicated that that's one thing that we have lacked, and that is continuity, but they have equated it to the exchanging of coaches, right? Whether that be the coach leaves under their own free will, or if that's just the coach getting fired when, some people feel like that they should have been giving excuse me, more of a chance. But I'm looking at it from the standpoint of continuity in the sense that a player feels comfortable enough with a coach that if they feel that something is not going right, that they can go up and they can say something to the coach and say, hey, coach, something, blase, blah, blase, blah. And then vice versa, the coach has a good enough rapport with the player that if the player is doing something that the coach feel like can be done better, they know the proper way to approach things. Now, I want to kind of go back a little bit, man, because like I say, when I'm riding, I think about a lot of stuff. And I said, you know what? Going back to when this particular staff was assembled, the big thing that we heard was that there is 100% complete buy-in. And obviously, of course, we all felt like, well, this is different. There is buy-in this time around. And the reason we felt different, or at least for me, is because of all the outside things that we saw that were transpiring. We all saw the picture of Mario and Moss on the PJ coming into, I don't know what airport they went to, but they're on the private jet. The press conference, seeing Mario leave the press conference with the suit on, going out to see Wes Basant at Miami Central, the hiring of A.D. Radakovich, the president of the university saying that they're going to earmark money from the hospital funds to help buy or help facilitate or finance some things in terms of the football program. And last but not least, the SEAL Team 6 of coaches. We saw all of that stuff and we said, well, there has to be buy-in from the players. And we completely erased from our memory that every coaching staff change that we've had over the last 20 years, we've heard the same exact thing from the players, that there's 100% buy-in, that it is different this time around, only for the season to take hold and we realized that no, there was not 100% buy-in, right? There was not 100% buy-in. But the reason I say we need the continuity, I was listening to Canesville, right? They were having a panel up there, and X made a comment, man, and I said, man, you know what? I didn't even think about it like that, because I said that coincides with what was said when they first got in the building. And the thing that they said when they first got in the building was this: we didn't look at any film of any players prior to us getting here. We wanted everybody to have a clean slate. And the statement X made, again, like I said, went hand in hand with it. X said, man, think about this. And I'm paraphrasing. It wasn't until the fourth game of the season, or maybe right in North Carolina game of the season, when Coach Ponce and Josh Gaddis felt like, well, maybe we need to go over there and holler at TVD and see what he's comfortable with doing. Coach Hayes echoed the same sentiment. He said, man, when you see a player drowning, throw him a life raft. Do something for him. Help him out. And I said, you know what? I didn't even think about that. And so that leads me into this other point that Coach Hayes made. And I just thought this was so on point when he said this. I asked him a question one day. Super chatted him a question. I said, Coach, which particular coaching style do you feel will yield the best results? The drill sergeant approach or the more player coach approach? And his answer was simple. Both methods can yield the results that you're looking for. But then he went off and gave an example or an analogy. And I thought this was such a great analogy, man. And he said, man, he operates or utilizes the Python theory. And I said, well, what is the Python theory? What is that? What does that mean? Just bear with me, guys. I know sometimes I get a little long-winded, but bear with me. The Python theory. So what do we know about a python? A python, similar to an anaconda, what they do is they wrap around their prey and they squeeze it. But they're not exerting all of the pressure all at one time. And so the example that he used of how you apply the Python theory in football terms is if you're a coach and you come into the program the first day and you say, you know what, the ultimate goal is I need these guys to run 31-10s. So instead of coming in day one and saying, hey, we're going to run 31-10s. I need 31-10s today. Instead of doing that, the Python theory would say, well, let's start slow. Let's do 10. Let's do 10 for 3 or 4 days or 2 days. All right, then we take that 10 to 15 for maybe 3 or 4 days. Then we go from 15 to 20 for maybe a whole week solid, right? Then we go to 25. And then by the end of the month, we're at the 30 that we wanted. And what you've done is you've broken the players down by incrementally increasing the number of 110s that they're running. And by the time they realize it, they're running 31-10s. Because if you would have came in the door and say, look, I need 31-10s, obviously it would probably been some resistance. It would probably been some pushback. And you got some people that's like, hey, I don't care what you do. We stay out here all day. And a lot of times that stuff is very, very counterproductive, especially if you're trying to get to a large goal at hand. And I said, okay, well, maybe I could apply the Python theory to offensive play calling this year. Again, they said that they didn't watch any film. And I said, man, the Python theory associated with this would have been first spring practice, first day out there. Hey, TVD, what you comfortable with? What you comfortable with? All right, that's what you comfortable with? Okay. So we're going to run some of that. But every week, let's just go to the season. Let's go to the season. Let's not even use spring. Let's go to the season. TVD, what you comfortable with? We did some things in the spring, but out of the spring, what are the things that you are comfortable with? All right, this is what I'm comfortable with, Coach. Okay, this is what we're gonna do what you're comfortable with. We're gonna start game one with things that you're comfortable with. But slowly, every week, leading up to the to the midpoint of the season, all the way to the end of the season, we're gonna continue putting in things that I want as the offensive coordinator, while also doing things that you want to do as the quarterback, things that you're comfortable with, because my success as an offensive coordinator is based on how successful my offense or my product is. So that should have been the approach. But it wasn't. The approach seemed to be come in and kick the door in, and I don't care about looking at what y'all did good last year, because a lot of times when you have a full sale type of ordeal like we had this offseason, the new coaches could care less about what good happened last year because of the simple fact, because obviously it wasn't enough good to outweigh the bad, because if it was, we wouldn't be here. So obviously the good wasn't good enough, so we want to disregard that entire thing, and we're going to make you or force what it is that we want on you all. But I don't think that was necessarily the approach on the defensive side of the ball though, because I do think that Kevin Steele, along with Coach Strong, their numerous years of experience coaching on the defensive side of the ball. I do think that towards the end of the year, obviously we still had some some bust and some some issues throughout the entire year, obviously, of course, but I do think that they were able to do a little bit more or a lot more salvaging of their side of the ball than what transpired on the offensive side of the ball. But again, it goes back to continuity. How comfortable are the players with the coaches? And so with this particular offensive coordinator hire, again, if the name that they're floating out there is indeed the guy that is going to be the guy, then hopefully that he has that approach, that anaconda approach, that python approach. Because if not, we could be in the same boat again. However, I don't think that if we are in the same boat again from an offensive standpoint, it won't be a scenario again where you let the guy go. But I think hopefully Coach Cristobal, still learning as a coach. And so maybe this particular year was a type of year that he needed, because sometimes you need to be punched in the face, not literally, but sometimes figuratively speaking, you need to be punched in the face to realize that my defense, figuratively, my defense in terms of if we're talking about boxing or fighting, man, my defense ain't as good as I thought it was. Man, I got some deficiencies. I got some shortcomings that I need to fix, right? And so maybe that particular approach is one of those things that that changes. And maybe if we hear that there is buy-in this offseason, it's real and it's not necessarily fool's gold. But as always, man, comment, like, share, and subscribe. And as always, it's all about the you.